Okay, so this is a quick little screencast about how I use lessons in my class. This is one of the first lessons that the students go through, and I don't always do them this way, but it's kind of one of the ways that I do it. So Introduction to the Speech Writing Process is a lesson that I think is really helpful for them to kind of get an idea of what to be doing. So typically what I'll do is I'll start them out with some kind of a lecture. My lectures tend to be, or the lectures that I either use, or like this one that I found online, or they're the lectures that I create myself, and they're typically 1 to 5 minutes long. Try not to go longer than 5 minutes, because otherwise it's hard for students to be able to pay attention to all that. So they watch the video here. I make sure to embed the video so they don't have to go outside the lesson to go view it. And then at the bottom, I include something about where when they finish the video, they have to click on the purple box, just to tell them where to go next. Then I may have another video if I don't have another question for them, but after they watch a certain number of videos, then I'll have a question for them. So this question is fairly simple. What was not described by the video as being important? Favorite TV shows is obviously the answer here. But if they get the answer wrong, like if they say gender, and they submit that answer, then what it does is it will take them back to the Analyzing the Audience video, and they'll have to try and answer that question again. So when they watch the video again, then they can click on the purple box and they can say, oh, what was it? Oh, it was probably favorite TV shows. And from there, they can submit it, and it will move them forward to the next video. It gives them a little bit of feedback so that they know why they got the question wrong and what they can do better in the future. So this is something that they can do. So they can move through and they can learn a little bit. I find that it's a useful way to give them some formative feedback as we're going through content. You can also have essay questions. Essay questions in lessons on Moodle right now kind of suck grading them. So anytime you have an essay question, you have to go through and grade each individual essay separately. So you have to click on each question for each student, grade it, go through, and it's not quite as easy as grading quiz questions that are essays, but it's still a useful way, especially if I'm trying to get more direct feedback, or if I want them to, for instance, if they're connecting specific concepts to their speeches, it can be a useful way for them to give me some feedback about how they're connecting the concept to their specific work that they're doing. So if you're going to put together a new lesson, let me see if I can get to, hold on, let's see. We're going to go back to the main page for this class, so I can show you what it's like to put up a new lesson, just quick. Sorry for the background noise, I'm in a coffee shop right now. Come on, there we go. Computer's being slow too. Woohoo, so much fun technology. Okay, so you go to add a resource or activity, you choose lesson, you go to add. Okay. So the name of the lesson doesn't matter. You can do like this lesson, we'll do here. You don't need to have a description, but you can have a description on your course page if you want to. Availability I like to do because then it makes it available. You can have your deadlines for when it's supposed to be due. Although if you put a deadline on to your lessons, then each semester you go back, you have to re-put those deadlines up. You can do flow control. I don't know much about grading in Moodle. That's one of the areas that I'm really not good at, so don't go to me for that. You can save and return to course or save and display. I meant to press save and display it, but that's okay. So it's going to come back. We're going to have to go back and find that, and then we'll edit that lesson. How's your week going? Hopefully it's going pretty well. Got called trashy by a neighbor today, so that's fun. Alright, so practice lesson. So this is what it's going to look like if you're coming into it as a student. What you need to do is you need to be adding content or adding a question page. So if you're having a content page, this is where you would be adding in those lectures. So the page would be, first page. And this is the title that you have up here is the way that you're going to keep track of each of the pages that you're doing. So if you are going back through and editing, which I can show in just a minute, the title of the page is something that's more important for you than it is for students. So, contents of the page, this is where you would be able to embed a video, which you can do with linking it in here. You could have a lecture up here. You could have a content page like, here's some important information, blah, blah, blah. So you could have something you type out, whatever you do here. Then, the description is where you put the title of it. This is important. And then the jump is where students go after this page. The description is the first page. The jump is what's going to happen after they finish this page, okay? So, what you can do is, if you want them to go to the next page immediately after this, then you go to the next page. If you want to jump to the end of the lesson, they can do that. I typically go to next page because it's the easiest way to do it. And at the bottom of here, say, click on the purple box to go to the next page. Typically, that's what I think I do here, if I remember right. It's been a little while since I've done this. So save the page. And then if you would go to preview this page, which you can do with the little magnifying glass, so what it says. So the first page is the title that you put in. Here's some important information, blah, blah, blah. Click on the purple box to go to the next page. Click on the purple box. And there you go. Congratulations, you ended the lesson. All right, so the next thing we can put in there then, we'll go back to edit. We're going to add a new page after this. We're going to add a question page. So based on that content, you can put in any kind of question you want. We're going to add a question page, so multiple choice. Multiple choice are a little bit more confusing to put together, but the title of the page will say, question about page 1. Did you like page 1? I don't know, I'm just putting in a question here. Alright, so then you go down, you can have multiple answer where you have multiple things that are requested, but that gets a little bit confusing. So, answer 1, you can say yes, and the response would be, if you want to have a response for them, like I had with that, yes, you're right, TV shows may be important, but it wasn't talked about in the video. So if their answer is correct, that it's yes, then you can jump to the next page, they have a score of 1. Answer 2 might be no, and then you would say, what was wrong? Why didn't you like it? This is a nice place where you can give some feedback as to why it's wrong. You can give additional answers as well. Maybe so, whatever. And then it goes back to the previous page. Okay, so you save that page, and then the question is going to be able to show up for the students. So you're going to see where the page is going to jump to. If you're in the edit area, it can jump to the previous page or the next page, depending on where you want students to go. So if you previewed that question, did you like page 1? No, maybe so, yes. If you like yes, you can press submit and see it randomize those things. And it says, congratulations, you reached the end, yes, or the end of the lesson. Okay. You can go to reports. Reports will tell you how well students did on it, what their attempts were, what their scores were. The report is helpful when you are trying to get the grades out of here, if you're trying to pull them out for a different type of grade book. After you've graded the essays, you can see what the scores were for students. So you can go through in the edit page, that's where I do a lot of my editing. You can add new pages, you can alter where they're at. You can also do cluster questions. I haven't figured that out yet, that's a little bit more confusing. But that should be kind of a basic start to how you use lessons in Moodle. Like I said, I really like them for formative feedback. I don't use them perfectly yet, but I think that it's an effective way for them to watch a video and then answer a question about it. And if they're not quite getting some of the basic stuff of those questions, then you or the basic stuff from the videos, you can have to go back and watch it again. For them to have multiple questions on one video, I haven't figured that out yet. It wasn't a perfect system, but at least it's something. So hopefully that's helpful.